Perfect.
I'm live. We're live. Are we live?
Yes, we are live.
Hey, everybody. Everyone. How's everyone doing? We got 33 people on YouTube. 33. 33 degrees. How great is that? 33. I see Drishtanta, Kira, Daniele, Lynette, Alexi, Amy, Brandon, Shades of Shea, Manu, Alexi, Saffron. Nice. Greetings to everyone. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Thursday. Thank you for joining this live. Should we just wait for more people to join? Yeah. Nice to see you, Brittany, Catherine, Lords, Shelley. Back front, I'm great. How are you? Jersey from New Jersey. Hello. You sound like the DMX song. Which one is that? Which song do I sound like? Brandon Green from Philly. Nice. Hello. We have some heavy rain, but I'm enjoying it. Where are you located? For those of you who might be located in the west coast of Florida, please stay safe. There is a Category 3, Category 4 hurricane imminent, perhaps tonight. But there's definitely a storm surge. And I know firsthand, my last house kind of went underwater last year around April, when Bridget was 8 weeks pregnant. So it's never pretty. Amy, Massachusetts. Where in Mass? My wife and I met in Boston, Mass, Boston University. Spain. We're in Spain. We were just in Madrid and Malaga. Nigeria, Germany. Nice. Mississauga, Ontario. Hello. UK with the heavy rain. What else is new? Live there. Never really heavy rain, but always this annoying rain. Lynette, does your reality mastery program accept debit card? Yes, we do. Yep. South Africa. Okay. All right, so I think we've got a decent turnout right now, 130 people. Why don't we just jump right into Q&A? So how we do these is just write down your question. If you want priority, I think you can use the super chat. I mean, you can donate as little as a cent or whatever it is. That way it puts you on top, automatically prioritizes you. So then I'll just prioritize your question. And otherwise, what we'll do is our customer success manager, Hina, is on this as well. She will go ahead and pin the questions, and I'm going to start answering them one by one. By the way, I wanted to announce this really quickly. I feel like I don't announce enough. Our Reality Creator Academy is open for enrollment till the end of this month. If you're not on the email list or the wait list, you probably haven't heard about this. So if you would like to join, the details, you'll find them if you go to realitycreator.com/academy. So go to realitycreator.com/academy. You can look through it later on, and you'll find all the details there. Cool. Hina, shall we get started with some questions? Oh, no, I think...
Oops, sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yes, let's get started.
Let's do this. All right, there we go. There's the starred ones. Pratik says, how to gain clarity in life, building system for life. Okay, so clarity, the formula for clarity is what, why, who equals how and when. And what I mean by that is when you're clear intellectually on what you want, emotionally on why you want it, and identitily on who you must become in order to achieve it, that congruence leads to the how and when showing up all by itself. So the questions I always ask are, what do I want? Not what I need, because a lot of the times you'll ask, oh, I want this big mansion and this big car, but I don't need it. And then you start to shame yourself and judge yourself for wanting it. That's not what we're doing here. Just focus on what your heart truly desires. Then you can align what and why together right off the bat, right? So if I say, hey, I would really like to experience traveling with friends, going to new places, experiencing new life. Yeah, you don't need that, but you don't have to justify your wants. When you can want without judging yourself for it, then it's a genuine heart want, right? So if you allowed yourself to dream without any conditions whatsoever, what would you want? What would you like to experience in this life? And there's three kinds of desires. There's having desires, things you'd like to own. There is doing desires, things you'd like to do, experiences things you'd like to do with people, different people you'd like to do them with, and being desires, who you'd like to be, how you'd like to feel on a day-to-day basis. So focus on those three: what, why, and who, and being, doing, having. And give yourself permission to have it instead of relying on some kind of belief like, oh, I don't believe I can get $100,000, therefore I won't want it. No, forget the belief. What do you want if you could have anything? Actually, Shades of Green, thank you for the super chat. What is the best way to change procrastination? So we procrastinate for two main reasons. There's not a good enough reason to do something. Like that's the number one reason. There's not a good enough reason to do something. And what I mean by that is, let's say you have set the goal to start up a business, and you have to go out and set up your social media account and set up business stuff. Um, Typically, what happens is you don't have a good enough reason to do something. You don't have a good enough reason to start that business because, number one, you don't feel like it will actually succeed. You can't see anything to gain from it. There's nothing to gain from it for you. Therefore, you procrastinate. And or you have too much to lose by doing it. So human beings are motivated by pleasure and pain. We want to avoid pain and move towards pleasure. If you could see the task in front of you, as something pleasurable, if I do this, then I will get this, which will make me feel pleasurable. And by the way, these don't have to be actual external rewards. They could be internal rewards. Like, if I do this, I will feel proud of myself. If I took this action, even though I don't want to take it, I will legit feel proud of myself. That's moving towards pleasure. Moving away from pain is, if I don't do this, I will feel miserable. I will feel like I've failed myself yet again. You need to have both of those aligned to that task. So whenever I set tasks for myself, it's always more so focused on, what do I have to gain from it? What's the potential upside? What's the potential downside of me not doing that? I always focus in on those. And then it's as simple as feel, act. Just jump into it without thinking about it. Just literally, like, a lot of the times I procrastinate on making videos because I script things out. I like to be deliberate about it. And so it's like, always think about the whole thing, right? Like, a lot of the times we always focus on the downsides of doing it. Like, oh, I have to do all of this and I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if I'm going to gain as much as I want to gain from it. So it's going to be a waste of time. But if I just opened up the Word document and I just started typing and I just saw what came out, it's actually a lot easier. So the final piece to it, which kind of aligns with that pleasure and pain principle, is the number one reason you don't do something is because it's just too hard. And it's too hard because you're looking at the end of the marathon. You're looking at the full marathon you have to run instead of the first step you can take. Just focus on taking it one step at a time, doing one thing at a time. Let's just open up the document. Let's just type the first words in there. Let's just see what comes out. And the next thing you know, procrastination's gone. You're doing it. You have momentum. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to get to that ultimate the momentum of you being in full flow state without you even starting it. It's like the train. You're trying to get it to 100 miles an hour before even going to 1 mile an hour. You have to build from 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles, slowly build it up to 100 miles an hour. So without much context, it's difficult to answer this question, but I hope this was helpful. Kira, thanks for the super chat. How do you prevent the kickback into negativity when you're just about to manifest a big conscious creation? Is it normal? / how do you deal with severe lack of sleep when creating reality? So let's answer one question at a time. How do you prevent the kickback into negativity when you're just about to manifest a big conscious creation? The reason negativity happens is because deep down there is some resistance you're holding on to. That's what's called self-sabotage. Somewhere deep down, you need this to help you, to make you feel complete. Okay, so you are needing this for validation of your internal state of being. You're not creating from a place of, I am already complete. This is an expression of my completeness. You're creating from, hey, I want to be complete. I'm incomplete now. Therefore, once I get this, then I will be complete. This literally means our importance level is too high. We're creating excess potential and imbalance in the field of nature. We're saying, I'm not complete. That thing is very important to me. Once I get that thing, then I will be happy. Typically, when that happens, you manifest all of these resistances, setbacks. And that's why that kickback into negativity happens, because deep down you are reliant on it. You're not actually whole and complete already. So the question to ask is, how can I be whole and complete now and create from that place? If I were whole and complete already, if I were joyful already, what would the expression of that joy look like? Your second question, is it normal / how do you deal with severe lack of sleep when creating reality? Okay, so before I get to that, you asked, is it normal? So that kind of thing can happen, but remember why these things happen. It's kind of like a test trying to wake you up. If in that moment where that negativity comes in, you don't react to it, you don't give it too much attention, you brush it off, chances are the thing that you wanted to manifest will manifest. So to give you an example, a lot of the times in my business, things would be going well, but then one bad thing would happen, and I would hyperfixate on it because I'm trying to keep everything perfect. My natural tendency is perfectionism, and I want to keep everything perfect, neat. Everything must be the way that I want it. Me, my intention. This is the way I want it. And so I can't let go and let God do the work. And I insist on playing God myself and trying to control every single facet of reality. But instead, if I let the one or two little things go, the grander picture manifests. The big things that I want, the things that truly matter to me, those little setbacks eventually evolve into something greater, some greater lesson that I had to learn. For example, you're manifesting money's coming into your business, and then all of a sudden you get hit with a big tax bill, and you're like, oh, I've just made this money, now I have to pay this in this tax bill. Well, if you don't let that bother you too much, you're like, okay, fine, I'll just pay it. And you dispassionately deal with the fire that just started without giving that pendulum too much energy. Chances are, maybe, yes, you pay that tax, but then you start making even more money, right? Because your attention didn't get sucked into that negative reality. Does that make sense? How do you deal with a severe lack of sleep when creating reality? I don't know how to answer this question because it's very crucial to physiologically be at a certain level before you work on manifesting. So if you're not sleeping well, you're not eating well, your diet's not good, those are things you have to address first, because it's very hard to control your attitude or keep your attitude in check if you are fatigued. Now, let's go to Sim. How to still keep a link and be friends with others without being affected by their negativity. It's a good question because I don't know long term how sustainable it is, because in the longer run, you will, like, whoever you become friends with, your state of being and their state of being, typically people reach an average. So if you're someone who's very positive, on a along going along a very good track, you will uplift your friends and bring them up to your level. Now, they won't be exactly to your level, they'll be somewhere in the middle. And if your friends are very down, very negative, they will bring you down to that level. So you'll become the average of your friends, right? The average of your circle. They say you're the average of your 3 closest friends, etc. So if you'd like to keep a link and be friends with others without being affected by their negativity, the first thing you have to do is treat yourself like a doctor. Imagine doctors who treat sick patients all the time, but they don't get sick. Why? Because they have this inner belief that I am the healer here. Therefore, I have this invisible field that's protecting me at all times so that I can heal patients, instead of falling into the sickness pendulum, being like, oh, I got to protect myself from this sickness or else I'll get sick. Most of the time, they don't get sick because they are in consciousness. They're a level above the sickness. So treat it like that. Like, hey, I'm a beacon of light. I'm here to serve. I'm here to help my friends or help the friends that I have. Therefore, I trust that I won't be affected by their negativity. But I can tell you from experience, in the long run, you will. And you will always notice after interactions that your state of being is always affected. You always feel like, I don't feel good. I don't feel good after this interaction. It's bringing me down. And so a long-term strategy for that is finding new friends. A short-term strategy is dealing with it as though you deal with sick patients. Appreciate you, Kira. How to Speak to God/Universe. There's a great book on this, actually. It's called Conversations with God. I believe it's by Neil Donald Walsh. In it, he talks about how God speaks, the language of God. God always communicates in feelings. It's very, very subtle, but we live in a world of mind, thoughts, words, mind. So we always logically think about things. Is this correct? Is this right? But the realm of God is uncertainty, chaos, not knowing, the unknown, faith, feeling. If you want to speak to God, speak through feeling. Speak through the feeling that you have in your heart. Speak through the feeling that you have in your body. So whenever I ask for intuitive guidance from God, I look for signs. I ask God to give me a sign. Please show me that this is the right way, or please show me the right way. And typically I will get some kind of a sign. It's kind of crazy how that works. Yeah. So God's language is very, very subtle, but you have to be quiet enough, still enough to receive it. The stiller you become, the more you reside in the realm of God. So that's why I like to meditate regularly. And by meditation, I mean just literally quieting down the mind, stilling the mind by observing something, a subconscious fact, a subconscious operation that happens within your body, like breathing, or just observing your heartbeat, or observing the feeling within your body, spending like 10-15 minutes observing the feelings within your body. Do you do your manifestation techniques every day? No. Yes and no. So it depends on what it is. If I'm ever feeling like, oh, I have to do this, I don't do it. When I feel like I want to do this, I really want to do this, I want to experience this ideal reality, then I do it. I never do things out of I try my best to not do things out of obligation and need. I try my best to do things out of pure joy, pure wanting. And even things that I kind of have to do by duty, I change my perspective on it to look for the positives in it. Like, hey, yes, I have to do this, but what if something good actually came out of this? What if something that I didn't perceive that would be wonderful actually came out of this? Like sometimes you might have chores that you got to do. Like, hey, I got to take the trash out, or do wash the dishes. You don't want to do it. What if something good came out of this? What if that time that you spent doing that mundane chore actually led you to having like a eureka moment or an insight, or calm down your mind? Because a lot of the times I'll just do it and I feel like, oh, my mind is calmer. As opposed to, like when you start to delegate a lot of things in your life, you hire people to do things for you. Uh, it's great, but then you're like, what do I do with my time now? A lot of the times you're like, what do I do now? Those are great moments because you can fully be in that moment. Let me just sit quietly and just be, instead of trying to occupy my time with something else. But then when I am occupied by doing some chores that I, can't avoid, um, even that I look for the enjoyment in. Because the way I look at it is, have you ever been to like on a trip or something for a very limited time? Like my wife and I went to Spain, to Europe recently, and we were only there for 5 nights. But I was like, oh, my time in this place is limited. I'm going to soak up every single moment. And even when we were on 3-hour train rides from Madrid to Malaga, uh, I was just looking out through the window like the whole time, just like soaking it in, just taking it in. What if you became so conscious of your mortality? You're like, hey, I'm here for a limited time. I got to do these dishes. What if I just soaked up every single moment of this? And especially now that I have a kid, I hear all these parents telling me, oh, enjoy this moment like 10 months, 11 months. It doesn't last for too long. Now I'm like, shit, I'm going to soak up every single moment of this. Every single moment of this is sacred. I'm going to try my best, like when I'm spending time with my kid, to like, even the times when he throws a tantrum, even the times when he's like not being, fully pleasant. I'm going to soak it up because this won't last forever. Like you're going to blink and they're going to go off to college apparently. Yeah. I hope that answers your question. Are you guys getting value out of this? Is this helpful? I'm just looking at the chat. Good? No? Having fun? Yeah. Well, I'm grateful you guys are here. I love this community, and I love being able to answer any questions you have. By the way, for those of you who are new, we are having open enrollments for Reality Creator Academy. I'm sure a couple of Academy students are here. But if you'd like to join the Academy, all you need to do is go to realitycreator.com/academy. And there's like a full video where I walk through what the Academy is. It's an amazing community where I can, I'm also there. Like you can ask any questions you have. We have Hina, a customer success manager, running weekly collaboration calls, kind of like this, but you get to interact with like-minded people on this journey, because I know when I started, people in my immediate environment thought manifestation was bullshit. And so I didn't really have a lot of people to discuss this with. So I didn't have like a community of like-minded people. And the Academy also has a core curriculum that goes deeper into the 4 pillars of reality creation: awareness, clarity, creation, and coordination. When you master those, you master the art of reality creation. Wonderful. Great. Just wanted to put that out there. Let's get back to the questions. Priyanka says, you told to let go. I'm trying to accept everything. I'm very tired. I'm trying my best to accept everything and let go. And I feel sad. It will end, right? I just need some hope. Don't hope and pray that it ends. Let it go on for as long as it needs. You just live your life. That's true letting go. You haven't actually let go yet. You're like, oh, it's gonna end, right? Right? It's gonna be over soon, right? Just assume it will never end. It doesn't matter to you whether it ends or not. You are here. You are now. You can do what you can with everything you've got. You're very powerful. Claim that power. That's full letting go. It's like, I trust whatever is happening for the right reason, even though I can't see why it's happening the way that it's happening. I don't know when the thing that I want to happen is going to happen, but what do I know? What can I do in the meantime? I'm going to do that. How to determine purpose when you see signs in everything. I determine purpose. Purpose is a tricky question because truly objectively speaking, purpose doesn't exist. It's subjective, right? It's just, we're just here. We come here for a temporary existence and then we leave. What's your purpose is what you believe is your purpose. And the way I look at it is, you have come here in this earthly realm for a temporary period of time. Purpose would be, what would give me the most meaning to this limited time that I'm spending here? What could I be, do, and have that would give me the most meaning? And you follow whatever it is that becomes the first impulse thought, the first thought that comes up, that's the thing you follow until you have further feedback on greater things. So for example, at first you start off, you want materialistic things. Great, perfect, no judgment there. You want to buy the car, you want to make the money, you want to have the house. Wonderful. Pursue it fully. Don't judge yourself for it. When you are in pursuit of it and you have achieved it, and then you start to wonder, hold on, I have achieved this, but I don't feel fulfilled. Then you start to look inwards. But you can't skip steps and be like, oh, I know that's not going to fulfill me. I think that's not going to fulfill me. When deep down, a part of you actually wants to experience it. Don't judge yourself for what you want. Whatever it is you want right now, own it, go for it fully. Give yourself permission to go full force after it, even if it's the most materialistic thing that you can ever think of. Zero self-judgment. Your purpose you will feel more and more purposeful as you grow in consciousness. What's the best book you have ever read? That's a really good question. It's a really tough question, actually. I've read some really great books in my life. I actually made a Quake book list. It's called a Quake book because makes you it doesn't make you quake. It kind of makes you quake. It's like an earthquake kind of book. It shattered your reality. The books you've read. It's in one of our, I believe it's in Reality Mastery Community. I can't remember exactly which books, but I know when I started off, at least in the manifestation journey, some of the big ones were Reality Transurfing by Vadim Zeland, Parallel Universes of Self by Fred Dodson. Those were two big ones, and Letting Go by David R. Hawkins. Yeah. I'm just gonna answer this question. I'm gonna skip to it because I just read something last night as I was falling asleep that really like spoke out to me. It's about the shadow side. I'm gonna try to find it. Um, okay, check this out. Carl Jung said, the truth of the matter is that the shadow, which is the evil, negative side that you have, is that the shadow is 90% pure gold. Whatever has been repressed holds a tremendous amount of energy with a great positive potential. So the shadow, no matter how troublesome it may be, is not intrinsically evil. The ego, in its refusal of insight and its refusal to accept the entire personality, contributes much more to evil than the shadow. Carl Jung was once asked, would you rather be. No, actually, he wasn't asked anything. I believe he said this himself. He was like, I would rather be whole than be good because it's the good people in the world who suffer the most. They suffer their own conscience, they suffer their own ego because they're so focused on trying to be good, trying to be positive. Don't try to shut your negative mind up. Watch it, observe it, let it exist. Don't be afraid of it. That too is part of your personality. We have multiple parts of us, um, and the shadow is one part. Carl Jung talked about this, the four main personality archetypes: the ego, the shadow, the anima or animus, the feminine or masculine parts of you, and the higher self. Um, this book also talks about something something very powerful. Okay, check this out. The Jungian definition of the shadow was put well by Edward C. Whitmont, a New York analyst, who said that the shadow is everything that has been rejected during the development of the personality because it did not fit into the ego ideal. If you were raised a Christian with the ego ideal of being loving, morally upright, kind, and generous, then you'd have to repress any qualities you found in yourself that were antithetical to the ideal: anger, selfishness, crazy sexual fantasies, and so on. All these qualities that you split off would become the secondary personality called the shadow. And if that secondary personality became sufficiently isolated, you would become what's known as a multiple personality, kind of like Jekyll and Hyde. So anything that we repress, we put to the side and we shun as evil, that eventually becomes a secondary personality and starts to like get stronger and stronger later in life, the longer it is repressed. You don't ignore the voice yapping in the background. You address it. You address that negative voice. You address it and you accept it as a part of you. Yeah. Appreciate the super chat, Heather. Did you have a question? If so, we will prioritize you. Sebastian says, what is your why? Why are you consistent in pursuit of enlightenment? In other words, what keeps you motivated to stay on track, for example, to meditate every day? Because I know no matter how much, so I've arrived at this realization that no matter how much I accumulate externally, it won't make a difference. It won't change how I feel internally, because if I keep accumulating more, I will always be afraid of losing it. And I know the answer isn't out there. The answer is in here. So I'm just curious to find out. I'm just on a journey of discovery to finding out more and more about this self. And I believe meditation is one of the best ways I can arrive at that. If I found a better way, I would do that. But I've explored many different ways throughout my life, and like various forms of yoga, breath work, energy work, done shrooms, etc. I haven't done ayahuasca or anything, but maybe at some point, if I feel called to do it, I'll do it. But I have realized that meditation, self inquiry, is the best way to arrive at that. And I've found out more and more about myself, understood more and more about this self through that practice. And I believe that is my path, you know? I have had sufficient feedback to let me know that this is my path, and intuitively it feels like the right thing. Heather says, "What time/time zone are the live calls in the academy? Do you take monthly payments?" Uh, Hina, could you answer this? What time are the calls in the academy?
We have them at 10 a.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Eastern
When? What day?
on every Thursday. Every
Every
Thursday,
Thursday.
every single week.
Okay, cool. So we alternate times. So 10 and 1, you said?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, 10 and 1. Do you take monthly payments? Uh, I think right now we're not. Yeah, in this wave of launch, we're not doing monthly payments. Eric says, Quasi, while in the process of the doings, such as the steps I need to reach my goal, how do you keep motivated going on days of uncertainty, taking action when you don't want to? Yeah, so this question arises from the need of validation, right? Like I'm doing something to get something. Uh, you're not falling in love with the work, like the thing that you do, you're not fully in love with the act of just doing it, right? So there's two ways of doing things. One way is I'm going to do this, keep doing this until one day I will get the outcome. The other way of doing it is what Michael Jordan talked about so a parent once asked Michael Jordan, "Hey, my son loves basketball. He's doing really well. How can he become the best in the world like you?" Michael Jordan said, "Fall in love with the game. Just fall in love with the game. Because when you fall in love with the game, you stop counting the hours." So the first way of doing is I'm doing in order to get. The second way, I believe the more powerful way of doing is I'm doing because doing this is so much fun. I'm doing it because I'm immediately getting gratification from the flow state I'm in. So for example, when I go into like a deep work state and I arise all of these creative faculties within me, it just feels so fulfilling. What if you could get that way about the thing that you do? So that's why we always show our clients first how to um, own find that part of themselves where you fall in love with the work, and then how to monetize that work. So for me, I started making YouTube videos because I love making YouTube videos. That's the immediate first order reward. The direct reward I get is I actually love doing the thing. The second order reward is I get views, subscribers, and money. But I thought about that afterwards, right? I picked a medium where I would like to share my message and, have creative ways of bringing my message and sharing it out to the world. It's art. That's why people fall in love with doing art and you'll notice artists, they can't wait to share their art. They're like, "Oh, this is so good. I want to share this with the world." And they'll just like kind of annoy you to look at their art, right? Even if they're really, really good, they'll just keep bothering you, be like, "Hey, check this out, check this out, check this out. I can't wait to," because it's like when you get good news, what's the first thing you do? You can't wait to share it with other people. So I always look at it as, hey, if I'm going to take action, because you said taking action when you don't want to. Let's say you've made the commitment to act today. If I'm going to do this right now, this is quote unquote an obligation. How would I do it if I actually wanted to do it? If I genuinely wanted to do this, how would I do it? How would I show up? And by the way, not every single day do I go to the gym where I'm like, "Oh, I'm excited to go to the gym today." No, that typically happens when I take a break from the gym and I feel like I'm rotting away. And then I'm like, "Okay, I really want to go to the gym. Oh, it feels so good to get a workout in." But most days when I'm actually very, very consistent, I'm like, I can take a break. I actually don't want to go to the gym today. Oh, I don't want to work out today. But I just show up and just get it done. And I have fun doing that. Like sometimes you just show up and that's okay. So you don't always have to be 150, like 200%. Sometimes you just show up. You just show up and get it done. And that's okay. Other times you do great. Artists do this all the time. Sometimes you just show up and you just put something on paper and nothing comes out. It's one of those days. That's just life. But most of the time, 80% of the time, you're like in this state where you're genuinely enjoying it and you're doing it from a place of like, hey, if I were to do this and actually enjoy it, how would I do it? How would I show up? The question isn't what am I doing? The question is how would I do it? Who would I be as I'm doing this? Faiza, we appreciate the super chat. What's your question? I'm losing my flow by obsessing over a man I love. Don't lose your flow. Love yourself that you don't need another man to validate you. And then the man will come. Don't give the key to your heart to another person. How's everyone doing? Good? Liking this? Hating this? Let me know. It would be amazing if we started getting more turnouts for these. I know I don't do this on a regular basis. It's just like when time allows. So I believe I have it on my calendar for every third Thursday of the month. Is that when we do it, Hina?
Yes, exactly. Every third Thursday of the month.
Yeah, I try my best to do it. I believe we did one last month, and every time I do it, it's amazing. You guys show up with some really great questions, um, and obviously, I'm just like really into this space, as you can tell by the videos I make. So I'm glad I can help out and answer some questions, but it'd be great if we started getting like 3, 4, 500 people showing up. Maybe we'll have to do a better job at announcing it. But how did you guys find out about this? Like, did you come from the email list? Did you see on YouTube? Appreciate it, Faiza. A couple people saying email list. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for being part of the email list. Dr. Erica Montgomery says, what are the mantras or self-talk or visualization strategies you use to manifest money? So all of these techniques are aligned around one thing, my relationship to money. If I have a terrible relationship to money and I'm always thinking about scarcity and lack every time I think about money or visualize money, then that's more of what I will manifest. But I work on, like, my attitude towards money has shifted so much over the last 6 years, 7 years, because I used to be very, very stingy and very, very scarcity minded. But then as I grew in this reality creation journey, and I focused more and more on what I wanted, opportunities started to present themselves. I started to meet people, friends, who make so much money, and I started to see like how they what their relationship is towards money. And one book that I read recently is called Die with Zero by Bill Perkins. And in it, the general idea is the goal of his life is to die with zero in his bank account. Because if you don't, then you have wasted money, because you can't take money to the afterlife, right? And when he says die with zero, it doesn't mean like you just stupidly spend. No, but you allocate things you would give to your kids. You would allocate, emergency funds, etc. All those are accounted for, and after that, you die with zero. Like every single penny you have is being put to use, right? That's what money is for. It's to be put to use. So I read that book and my relationship to money changed because he mentioned that the goal of life, or the purpose of his life, was to trade money for positive life experiences. So then I no longer felt guilty about taking like expensive trips or vacations, because in it he mentioned a guy who was in his 20s and he took a loan to go out on a vacation to Europe, like a backpacking trip to Europe. And when you're 20, you're always told, oh, just put your head down and get to work, and don't take this vacation, don't take that vacation, don't spend money on stupid stuff. But his logic is, hey, would you appreciate having a Ferrari more in your 20s or when you're 60 or 70? Chances are you'd probably appreciate it more in your 20. You'd probably feel like, damn, I did some shit in my day. Like that was cool. Like this life was wholly worth it. So live with zero regret. And he also talks about like, hey, would you appreciate going on a skiing trip when you're 60 or when you're 20 more? When your vitality's there, your bones aren't hurting, you're young, and like just having that kind of attitude. So I think the number one thing, I know you asked about mantras or self-talk or visualization strategies, but the number one principle, because these are techniques, the number one principle to focus on is the principle of what is my relationship to money? Is it I love money and money loves me? Or I love money, but I never have enough of it? I love money, but it always keeps escaping me. I love money, but I always keep getting hit with bills and I can't keep any in my bank account. How can you start seeing more instances, confirmations of you having a good relationship with money? So one thing I would list down is you're trying to create a new belief. Anytime you try to create a new belief, you have to look for conscious confirmation of it. And the reality is like the glass of water that's half full and half empty at the same time. Whatever you look for, you will find. Your subconscious or your RAS will find it. So to create a new belief around money, all you have to do is state your desired belief, and every single day list down 3 confirmations of it. And this can be confirmations from the past. This can be confirmations from the day. It can be anything that you can think about. I love money and money loves me is my new belief. Okay, what are instances in which money loves me? What are instances in which money has freely showed up? Oh, I found, a $10 bill in the pocket of my old jeans. Money loves me. Money's finding me. Money's everywhere. Yeah. Hope this helps. I know there is more for me to do, but the fear is paralyzing. Does this mean I'm not ready? No, this means you just need to confront your fear and go through to the other side of it. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. In a way, you have to bulldoze your fear. You have to look your fear dead in the eyes and do it anyways. And it doesn't matter what comes out of it. It could be great, it could be shit, but you're training yourself. Right now, you're just training yourself to look fear dead in the eyes and go for it anyways. Appreciate the super chat, Quantum Yogi. Every time you spend money, think of it as an investment and it is going to come back to you 10 to 100x. I actually agree with that. Also look into like how you feel after you spend money. Like when you I think I learned this from Vishen. He was like, every time I spend money, I make an intention. Every time, I started doing it after that, but more so because when you make an intention, it's kind of like I have something to gain from this money. But I just assume that every time I spend this money, let's say I make a big investment in a marketing company or something, right? Even if it doesn't give me a direct ROI, before I press the button or before I transfer the funds or press the button to transfer the funds, whatever it is, I just make an intention that somehow this will come back to me 10 to 100 fold. And that I leave up to God. I don't know how it's going to happen. I have faith that somehow it's going to come back to me. And typically, good things always happen. Yeah, I always feel terrible when I spend money stupidly. And when I say stupidly, it's just like I impulsively spend it without without like making an intention, without consciously making an intention. You know, like the moment of expenditure or the moment of pressing the button or spending it. I just take a moment to pause, to create space, make the intention, and then go ahead and do it. Even when I'm afraid. Most of the times I am afraid. Roya says, I have guilt towards distancing from people when they're negative. It feels like you are abandoning people when they need you, and also people have helped me in dark times. Can you explain? Yes. Uh, the solution is to explore your guilt. Why do you feel guilty? What is it about you that feels obligated to help someone? There's a shadow side in there, right? And when you think about people abandoning people, um, when they need help, how do you feel? Chances are you probably feel strongly against it because that's your shadow, right? That's the part of you that needs to be owned. And that's probably why you feel that guilt, because you might view people who abandon other people as evil. Anything we view as evil is actually a separate personality within us, a shadow that needs to be addressed and brought to light so that individuation, wholeness can occur. So it's not like, don't look at the action of helping someone or abandoning someone. Look at the underlying context, not the content. The context is guilt. Why does it arise? What is it that you feel guilty about? How can it be surrendered? Can it be surrendered? Can you let go of it? Are you willing to channel that version of you that is that the ego views as evil? The shadow needs to be expressed. Otherwise, later on in life, you find yourself with psychosomatic issues. How to manage stress when nothing seems to work out. Uh, when you're stressed, it typically means you are in defense mode. You're holding too tightly to something. What was once a game is now no longer a game. Because I bet when you first started off or when things were going well, it just felt like a genuine game. You're like, oh, this is so much fun. This is great. I'm winning. But now you're not winning. You're losing and you're not comfortable losing. Ease into losing. Accept losing. Winners are actually the ones who have lost the most. People who succeed in sales are the ones who've gotten rejected the most. So the more you can get okay with losing, the more you're going to win. Yeah. Typically, this happens to entrepreneurs when they're going into defense mode. They're closing up. They become stressed. Nothing's working. Oh no, protect, protect. That's when you have to open yourself up. Kind of like it feels a little forceful, but open yourself up even more. Like, fuck it. If I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose. Just do it anyways. I'm playing a game. That's it. There's nothing else that I could think of that would be better than this, even if it's losing. Sebastian says, why do I often miss my meditations when I already have a good life and feel like there's no necessity? How can I break free from comfort and stop procrastinating when I want to achieve extraordinary? When you're full, allow yourself to get hungry. If you feel like your life is good and there's no necessity for meditation, then don't meditate. Just be, just live. Live normally. And when you get called to meditate, then own that. Don't do things because you feel like you should. That's silly. Do things because you genuinely feel like it's the right thing for you to do. Everyone's journey is different. Just because I meditate and other people you see on social media meditate and do cold plunges and do saunas doesn't mean that's right for you. When you feel called to do it, it's not like if I'm going to do it, it's when. When it's the right thing for me to do, I will do it. Own your own truth, live your truth. All right, I'm gonna answer a couple more questions, but I'm just looking through the chat. If you're talking about the academy, then all the details on realitycreator.com/academy. It's $499 a year, which comes down to like $41 a month. We actually have an open enrollment period right now. To find the details, all you need to go do is just go to realitycreator.com/academy. You might just have a business problem. Like you might just need to figure something out in terms of your business. My question, I was in the momentum of earning 10K every month, but this has not been consistent. In fact, the earnings have been dropping every other month. First of all, make the intention to have whatever earning you want, and stop reacting so much to earnings dropping. I can tell this question comes from a place of oh no, like I'm losing everything. My earnings are dropping. I'm losing it. Let yourself lose it. Let it go away. How can you build something even greater? What if you had to lose this to build something even greater? Make the intention of making how much you want. How much you truly want, not what you feel is safe. And then identify like what's the main thing that brings your business money? What's the main thing that makes you money? And focus most of your time on that. There's typically one main thing that brings your business money that makes everything else irrelevant. For example, in my business, if we get tons of views on the channel and tons of eyeballs and attention, that's the number one thing. If we get tons of traffic, marketing is great, then nothing else, like other things are very, very easy. Sales is pretty easy. Customer success has customers to actually maintain. So find that thing in your business. And typically for most businesses, it's marketing, especially businesses that are below 7 figures. I mean, below 8 figures even. Jenny says, Quasi, do people oriented more in the body or mind or heart should concentrate on a particular technique, or manifesting works the same way for everyone? Nothing works the same way for everyone. Some people need something a little bit different. So people who are more faith oriented, that like less grounded, if you will, they need more mind centric stuff, more formulaic stuff, more like, hey, follow this. The mind isn't fully on board. Typically, that's very rare, because most of the time, it's the mind-centric people who are very, very logical. They're in their heads. They need to get in their bodies. And people who are more faith-oriented are actually more in their heads. It's very, like, you won't believe it, but people who appear to be more artistic, they're actually more in their heads. They're actually not that present. They're more like in their heads about temporarily what they want, and they go with their like mind feeling, not their heart feeling, you know? Yeah, so that's why like most of the time the general message is follow your heart, have faith, have trust, because doubt only happens in mind. The heart can't doubt. The heart just knows. Okay. That's all for today. I hope you guys found value in this. I'm sorry we couldn't get to everyone. There were some really, really good questions today. Thank you all for joining. I see 206 people on right now. Next one will be Thursday, third Thursday of the month. Actually, I might not be able to do the next one next month. I might be out of town, but we'll see. But there'll always be an announcement. If you want to join our email list to get notified of future ones, all you need to do is go to realitycreator.com/list. But I wanted to announce that our Reality Creator Academy is open for enrollment till the end of the month, till the 30. Does September have 31 days or 30 days? Whatever it is. There's a timer on that page. Um, yeah, so realitycreator.com/academy to find out more details. You can just go on our website to access the list. Just go to this, realitycreator.com, and you'll be able to access the email list too. But as always, it's been a pleasure. Keep crushing it. Keep doing amazing. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the community. Thanks.